a 70-year-old big Zayda that you can't even shake him. Finally, some of the thoughts that you were impregnated with became factual, became something for here to stay. You're the type of a person when you start something, you finish it. I'm the type of a person that starting and finishing doesn't have to go hand in hand. Could be I'm starting and I'm not finishing.
Right.
I'm trying very much to be like you. If it's not for you, write it for your children. If not for your children, for your friends. And if not for your children and your friends, maybe for your grandchildren, great-grandchildren. I don't know when Chisa Maisim is going to be. It's also, but somehow they don't learn how to manage money, how to organize yourself with money. I don't know why. The children don't want to spend less for the chasana, they want to spend more. Don't take the not knowing how to invest as an excuse why not to save.
Just have gratitude. Be a grateful person.
So I want to make it so simple that there is no excuses, absolutely no excuses whatsoever why not to save money.
Git Gelt, the wisdom for your will.
Good morning, Reb Shulam. How are you? Welcome to another week.
Good morning, Reb Chaim. Baruch Hashem. I'm Gewaldic. How are you?
I'm doing very good, Baruch Hashem. I think today should be a special session, a special podcast, because my new book is Baruch Hashem out. But
Oh, wow.
but here's the thing. In Yiddish, it's already out. People buy it already. You can buy it online. You can buy it on the phone line. You can buy it in the local stores. So let's talk a little bit about that. And also,
it's very exciting.
It's very exciting. I think I have to make a shechiyonu.
Okay, so maybe we do too.
No, I tell you the feeling. It's very interesting. It's a very interesting feeling. But before I say that, I just wanna mention that you can buy it on Amazon. Put in Chaim Eckstein in the search. You can buy it on my website, chaimekstein.com, ChaimEkstein.com. You can buy it on the phone, 845-572-1212. That doesn't mean that somebody's going to pick up the phone on you. It means you're going to get a recording where you can enter all your order and it's going to get shipped to you.
Got it.
And you can also buy it in the local Sforum stores, the Yiddish one. What were we speaking about the Shechiyanu? I just want to share with you, Shulam, something. You wanted to say something?
No.
I want to share with you because I know that you were in the middle of writing a book. And after the book was out, I got this analogy, and I think it's true. It's like when you write a book, you start writing a book. By the way, I started to write many books that didn't come out. I have many books on my computer that's only through chapter 1. I have some books that I only finished the introduction. Now, I still hope some of these books are going to be completed and finished, but chas v'shulam, if not, I consider it a miscarriage. So I look at it as a pregnancy, where in the beginning of the pregnancy is the biggest risk for the child not to be born. Once you are at a certain stage, it becomes less risky, let's put it this way. And then once it's born, it's even less risky. And then once, it takes time until it becomes a 70-year-old big Zayda that you can't even shake him. But I think the feeling of a book that comes out is the feeling of a child that is born, because now you know that there's a lot of thoughts. I had these thoughts for years, years and years of thoughts that I always spoke about it, but it was always me speaking. And when you see it written in a book, the feeling is that finally some of the thoughts that you were impregnated with became factual, became something for here to stay, that people will be able to benefit forever. It's a tremendous feeling. You'll experience it Be'ez Hashem very soon when your book is finished.
I'm already experiencing it. I think just the process of writing the book has been incredibly. It forces you to articulate your thoughts in a way that you wouldn't otherwise. You're forced to really crystallize what it is you've been saying and talking about for so long, but to put it into word format in a book, different world.
Yeah, you know why you already experience it? Because you're the type of a person when you start something, you finish it. I'm the type of a person that starting and finishing doesn't have to go hand in hand. Could be I'm starting and I'm not finishing.
Right.
I'm trying very much to be like you, but sometimes I succeed, sometimes I don't.
But I think just the mere fact that you even started is half the battle. You know, there's a beautiful Rashash. Chazal say, I think it's Gemara and Kedushin, Talmud b'yadai, that you should have Talmud. You should have ownership over your Talmud, over your learning. So the Rashash says it should be taken literally. Talmud b'yadai means literally write down your learning, because the process, he says, the process of learning forces you to get a better understanding of what it is that you're doing. You know, like I said, writing something down, it's a different world than just thinking about it or speaking about it. When you're writing it, it forces you to really take ownership over your thoughts, your feelings, how you want to express it. All that comes together when you put it down on paper. So, you know, it's mamish Talmud b'yadai.
Absolutely. Absolutely. The reason I wanted to speak about this is not so much to impress you, but to impress upon you, upon the listener. So
Okay.
many people have so much thoughts in their kishkas and their guts, and they don't bring it out. And a lot of times, and I can tell you it's by me, I saw it many, many times that, are you familiar with imposter syndrome? Okay, I thought that, only I have it. But but imposter syndrome basically is something that a lot of people who bring value, which it's almost everybody, and they don't understand why people would even pay them for the value that they bring. They don't understand why people should appreciate,
Right.
should recognize them, should appreciate the value they bring, because for them it's so pushed that they don't understand the value from it. So, for example, give you an example in my situation. I have a certain way that I look at certain things, but this is part of me. So, and it's so simple and it's so part of me that I don't even understand why that some people it's not part of them. And when
Right.
you have such a syndrome, then you don't think of writing books about it because it's so pushed. Everybody knows it. It's like my wife. My wife is a wonderful baker. When I tell her how amazing cakes she bakes, she will tell me, "Yeah, big deal. It's only I just add the recipes and it comes out the cake." I tell her I don't understand. So many people
Right.
have the recipe books and the cake doesn't come out good, but she doesn't understand that. I have to keep telling it to her. The same thing. She cleans the house. She's doing a wonderful job. The house is always organized. The house is always in order. Nah, big deal. I just organize the stuff. No, it is a big deal because I go into so many houses. You go in, it's not like that. The dishes are washed,
Yeah.
whatever it is. And the same thing is also happens to me also. Whenever I have an idea, sometimes it's so pushed for me that I don't have. Why should somebody even want to pay it? Why should somebody pay for it? Why should somebody want to listen to it? Why should it be a wow? But then I see that I write down stuff, I speak about stuff, and I get feedback from people that I change people's lives. Somebody, just 2 weeks ago,
Right.
somebody told me his whole life changed because of one conversation on Kolma Vassar 5 years ago. I didn't even it didn't make sense for me, but I see this as the fact. And the same exact thing
Right.
is I think with almost everybody. People who are not succeeding in a big way is because they don't understand that the unique values they have, it's so simple for them, they don't even understand how they can make something big out of it.
And in fact, it's a skill to be able to identify your value and to be able to articulate it and present it. It doesn't come naturally. It's a skill. It requires intentionality and it requires really making a plan to focus on that. But, and this is something that I personally deal with when I work with clients, is really pushing them to focus on their value, because now with AI has replaced so much of what people could we used to be easily we could slip into, because we didn't want to really, we had that imposter syndrome, so we could fall back on our skills, on our experience, education, whatever it is. But today AI takes care of all that. So really the only real selling point that we have, if we really want to be successful, is our unique value that AI cannot replicate. And so it's so much more important, particularly today, whether you're looking for a job or you're looking for a promotion or you're just looking to be more successful in business. With AI is doing so much of what everybody used to do. We can only uh, we really find our value is really going to be the driving force, our unique value. is going to be the driving force behind our success.
Yeah. Okay. So I just wanted to speak about that before because I think I want to try to transfer my excitement and my enthusiasm to the listener
I'm
because
feeling it.
I know so many of you, so many of you. I know it because I spoke to many of you and I keep speaking to people. So
Right.
many of you have so much value to share and
Right.
and uh it's the same as art. You know that most famous artists who their paintings are sold for millions of dollars are usually not alive to see that.
Correct. Yeah.
Why is that? I think that's because of imposter syndrome. Because when they were alive, it was so simple for them. I just expressed my emotions through art. They didn't
Right.
even understand why somebody should pay for it. And then once
Right.
they're gone, another person comes into the picture and he says, "Wow, wow, that's unbelievable!
Right.
The art." The same exact thing is with the book, and I'm just I talk about it because in case there's somebody who's going to get inspired and also write a book. If it's not for you, write it for your children. If not for your children, for your friends, and if not for your children and your friends, maybe for your grandchildren, great grandchildren. I
Right.
once this, by the way, this is one of the thoughts that helped me fight imposter syndrome because whenever I found something written down from my late great grandparents, I was so excited. Wow, this is he wrote that, and then I'm trying to connect to him, to my one of my elders, and I'm thinking to myself, I'm wondering if Bishasi wrote that he thought that his Einikul, his grandchild, will one day see it and appreciate it and be so happy for it. That's number one. Number two,
Right.
if he thought about he's not going to live forever. Maybe he also thought, most people think they're going to live forever. Only other people are going to die. Did he also think that? And when I think about that, I have no idea. Maybe in 100 years from now, or 500 or 1,000 years from, who knows? I don't know. You know, I don't know when Chiyas Maisim is going to be, but whatever it is, somebody's going to pick up on what I wrote and read it, and they're going to be mechuzik from it. They're going to they're
Right.
going to see something. It's unbelievable. So if you don't write it for anybody alive, be selfless a little bit and write it for your great grandchildren. Next, what else are we going to talk about, Shulam? I think
Here,
what we're going to talk
when
about, I had a conversation that was 2 days ago. I had a conversation with a client, and it occurred to me a very interesting thing that a lot of people they don't save money because they don't know what to do with it. They don't know where to invest it. They don't know how to invest. They're not familiar. I have no idea why, but somehow in the school system they don't teach that. I don't know why.
no problem.
And it's interesting that I don't know in all the circles. I don't think it's specific to one circle. And you go to a yeshiva, you go to a school where besides all the learnings that they learn, in an Orthodox school, they learn how to be Elchiden, Yerushalayim, Midas Torah, and sometimes they have secular studies also. But somehow they don't learn how to manage money, how to
Yeah.
organize yourself with money. I don't know why. I don't know why, and I think it's something that needs a big tikkun. Let's put it this way.
Right. Absolutely. I wish I had such an education.
Everybody wishes, and I think the reason is because usually most of the teachers didn't get it. They got from their rabbis. What did they get? They got Torah, beautiful.
Man.
But I think it's something that if a yeshiva somehow can bring in, I'm not talking about giving away hours a day. Just give them the yisoidas, the foundation, what they need for their life. These bucharim, these girls are one day gonna have to manage a budget. These girls are one day gonna have to know how to save, and everybody is busy for reactive planning. Once you have a problem, everybody's going to be there to help them. We have organizations for everything. Baruch Hashem. We have Atzola for
Right.
sick people. We have Askunim that can help with Chasana Tukunas. We have to put out fires. We have everything, but we need
Right.
some proactive Askunim, and that's what we don't have, unfortunately. But I hope it's going to change.
We do.
Anyway,
But I do think there's a fear that if we spend too much time thinking about that, it's going to it's going to make younger people concerned about reaching for going out and just reaching for their dreams because they're so concerned about how they're going to afford to live. I think there's a kind of this fear that if we spend too much time talking about finances, people are not going to get anywhere in their aspirations. They'll get
I'm not. I'm not talking about talking too much, taking too much time for it. I'm talking about speaking about the little yesodis that you need.
right. I'm
Listen,
100% supportive
Absolutely,
of the
think about
idea.
this. Think about this. They keep saying, I think we had a conversation about this already on one of the episodes. The children don't want to spend less for the chasana, they want to spend more.
Right,
Baloney. It's not the case. You didn't speak to them about money. Explain them what
right,
it means $5,000. Explain them what it means $10,000. Nobody
right,
explained it to them. If
right.
the parents didn't give them the education, nobody gave it to them. I think it's very important. It's part
Right,
of Torah. Lo signov is part of Torah. Lo
right,
sachmoid is part of Torah. It's money is part of Torah. I would love, I don't know how we got into this conversation, but I would love if any yeshiva, any moisad, any principal, any of the top in any school is willing to be open-minded enough to bring in such a curriculum. I would love to help out in such a
but
thing.
there is an organization that has created such a curriculum already. Masila, I think it's called. I mean, there are organizations that have done
Right, but
this.
Masila, Masila is doing a lot of things, a lot of great, great things, but I don't think they're in yeshivas. I don't think it's a
They're
curriculum.
not, but I'm saying, are you saying it's because the curriculum is not? The question is
I
why the
want it to
yeshivas?
become part of the curriculum in the yeshivas, in the schools. That
Right,
I'm not talking about changing the structure of learning. I'm talking about take half an hour a year and talk about money.
right,
Well, Mittelnacht, whatever. Do something that in times that you don't learn. I don't know, Matzah Shabbos in summer.
right. So the question is what can be done to make that happen?
Right. We can talk a lot about that, but I think what needs to be done is awareness, number one. You need to understand, Harav Agun Atzadik, Rosh Hashiva, Melamed, Magachir, whatever it is, you need to understand that this Bucher is relying on you for the Yisot for his life. Money is
Right,
part of the Yisot for his life. If you want, whether you want it, you like it or you don't, it's part of it. So you can't hide. You can't be like the Basayana, I'm not going to look at it, and it's not going to
right,
come. It's by the second he stands under his chuppah and he gives a ksuba, he's signing that he's going to support his wife, he's going to support his family, and you need to recognize that for a mitzvah. So you can't just hide. That's the
okay,
that once you realize that, then you'll do whatever it takes to bring in the curriculum or to bring in the information, and it's something that absolutely needs change. And our children, when I look at my children, I see in their eyes, poor child. Nobody's teaching them about how to live the materials of the finances. They need that.
right,
So it's our
100%.
responsibility to do that. Otherwise, it's going to be terrible the next generation, Chaz v'Chalila, as well. And anyway, let's not talk too much about it. Anyway, a few days ago, I had a client who is making a beautiful, beautiful income, but he wants to save. He wants to save, but he is not saving. Why is he not saving? Not because he can't. He can save, but he's not saving because he doesn't know how to invest it, where to invest it.
Hmm.
So he's asking me for an investment plan. Could I to give him the encouragement to save?
Okay,
And it bothered me so much. You don't save because you don't know how to invest. Okay, but first save. You patchke the
mhm,
geld because you don't know how to invest. Anyway, we had a conversation. After a long conversation, I told them step number one, what you should do is don't invest it anywhere, just save it and go open a high yield savings account. And today, it could be somebody's going to listen to this episode in a year from now. I don't know what's going to be then, but as of today, you can make between 4 and 5% a year in just a high yield savings account.
okay.
So
And
psychologically, sometimes all you need is a high yield savings account to tell you that your money is really working for you. So
right,
I'm not saying you should leave it there, but all I'm saying is don't take the not knowing how to invest as an excuse why not to save.
Right. I think what you're saying, it's aligned with, I was recently reading the book Atomic Habits. I don't know if you've seen that. It's a
The name
big
rings a bell, but I never
bestseller.
read it.
It's been a big bestseller past couple of years. It came out a couple of years ago, but phenomenally successful. But his aside is, like all these books, is relatively simple. Don't be the person, in this case, don't be the person who saves money, become a money saver. In other words, don't just be a person who also saves money. Change your identity, that your identity is a person who is a person who money who's a money saver. I don't know how else to put it, but it's a big difference. Gratitude. Don't be a person who's just grateful, or who, I'm sorry, don't be a person who just has gratitude. Be a grateful person. In Yidden, we're all day long we express gratitude, but are we really grateful people? Is that a part of our identity? And that's his yesod, and I think it's what you're saying here. Get out of the idea that I'll save, I'll be a money saver when I know how to. No, or I'll save money. Identify as somebody who saves money, and you'll end up saving no matter how it's going to express itself, whether it's a high yield account or in real estate. But you're not just saving money; you're a money saver, and it's a different. With that perspective and that shift in mindset, it's a whole different world.
Yeah, I think you said it so well, but I think, Shulam, what's going to happen, a lot of Elechid are going to think, what? These guys are recommending my identity should be money saver. That's not my identity. My identity should be I'm a Elechid, Of course, that should be your identity. But look at Yaakov Avini, the Pachim Ketanim. Yaakov Avini also understood that the roots in Hashem is that you should save anything that belongs to you, you should save.
Right.
And the reason for that is, Chazal say that tzaddikim memoinam chuvev lehem megifam. And the reason for that is because it's ehrliche Geld, it's money that they worked, they didn't steal from anybody, they did what they were supposed to do. And the alternative to that, and we're not talking about being, being frugal in a way that you should, all your whole family should suffer from that. All we're talking about is that don't be a pazidan in a way that doesn't make any sense. When you don't have how to pay for your chasanas, you don't have how to cover your budget, and you just spend like crazy. I'm reminded of a very interesting story that I remember when I was a child. There was a well-to-do Yid that came in shul every day. He was an older guy. He was probably like 80 years old. He's not alive anymore. He was like 80 years old, and he was a Ababate Shayid. Let's put it this way. And I remember one of his children were always playing it big. Was always playing it big. He was always in the network of the Ashiram. He was always partying with the big names, and he was always, he always had to be like one of the Ashiram. And I remember one day this older guy comes in and he starts krechting. Oh, Ribono Shel Olam, you gave to my son-in-law Ashiras. Please give him Parnosa also. So the point is that the Ribono Shel Olam didn't give you Ashiras. Why do you think you have to play Osher? You don't have to. Just do whatever you're supposed to do and save in order for you to be able to live the life that Hashem wants you to live.
Right. But you're touching on something so, you brought this up before, but it's so fundamental, Chaim. Money is a reflection. It's not the purpose. It's the means to the end. It's a reflection of really how clear you are about who you are as a person. And if you're not clear on yourself, who you are, what's your priorities in life, what's important to you, and all these different things regarding your life, then the money is also gonna reflect that, and it's gonna be all over the place, and it's not gonna be accounted for, and you're not gonna be intentional about it. But saving money or having a financial plan is really tied into doing a lot of self-awareness work, and just really knowing yourself and recognizing what are my priorities in life. And not everybody has a goal to be wealthy. some people would prefer being a teacher or taking a job that may not pay a lot of money, but that's okay. That's what makes them happy. But then their parnasa has to reflect that as well,
Absolutely.
and vice
If your goal
versa.
is not to have abundant money, then you should make sure that you save every penny, and you shouldn't have to be a nitzvah lebrias, or you shouldn't have to collect for tzedukah. Hashem should,
Right.
God forbid, somebody needs to. Okay, he needs to, but this should be the focus. And
Right.
this is Chazal, by the way. Ein Kemach Ein Torah is a Chazal, and all the Chazal is filled with that. That people should make sure that they should be conscious of what's going to happen, should that they should be able to arrive to the destination when it happens
Right.
with the means to make it happen. I thought I'm going to share with you this website that I see very, very interesting, for people who are looking for high yield savings accounts. Just to know that you have a place to park your money. I just put into Google, high yield savings account. That's what I did. And usually this one comes up the first, Nerd Wallet, and you just scroll down, and you have SoFi, American Express, Citibank. You have big names here that you can make 4.5, 4 to between 4 and 5% as of today. And I think it's a great idea to do it, especially if you can do it in a place that's not typical with your it's not typical. It's not a place where you hold your other funds. It's not your Chase, and it's not your M&T bank. And this way, if you need the money, you have to do an extra step. You have to go somewhere and get it. This way, you're not going to use it
Right.
so easily. I can tell you one thing, Shulam. Somebody who doesn't know how to open a high yield savings account, or somebody that doesn't save any money because he doesn't know where to invest it yet. So he doesn't understand the stock market. He doesn't understand. What do you want from him? You want him to go to some crazy new ideas that somebody came up with? Unfortunately, a lot of Yidden lose their wealth because of that, lose their money
Right.
with this. You have to be so careful. So, and the more complicated you make it, the more complicated you make it, the more excuses the person has why he doesn't save money. So I want to make it so simple that there is
Right.
no excuses, absolutely no excuses whatsoever why not to save money. You don't know how to invest, save it. You want to make something in it, open a high yield checking account. Before you did that, before you checked off that, why are we talking about step 2? We're not there yet. Maybe step
Right.
2 is going to be open a SPY, putting your money in SPY ETF. We can talk about different things, simple stuff, but first make sure nothing is going to matter nothing is going to matter more than start to save and start moving in the right direction.
Become a money saver.
Yeah, that's so good. Become a money saver. And I tell you what, the more you're going to be proud about that identity, the better job you're going to do. The more you're going to think that it's not your ideal thing, it's only Nebuch, I have to be a money saver, the worst of a job you're gonna do.
100%. When we ingrain it within our identity, that maybe that's the wrong word, but when we have that mindset, it's a game changer. Your whole perspective shifts.
Okay, so yeah, become a money saver and be proud with the identity and teach it for your children. And I want to tell everybody who listens to this that even though the schools doesn't teach it, but you can teach it to your children and be proud to teach it.
Gewaldig.
And I think we'll finish with this for today. Have a wonderful day, Reb Shulam.
Okay, Reb Chaim, Shkayach, fantastic.
Git Gelt, the wisdom for your well. Git Gelt, the wisdom for your well.